Reaper actually does less damage on the PTR right now than he does on live. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I am Stylosa. So, before we get into this, I want to give a shout out to a post on Reddit, more of just a courtesy than anything, because this video, I was working on this before that post went up, but I just want to give that post a shout out, and I will link to it in the video description, just so people can't go you stealing videos off Reddit. Yeah. All right, let's get stuck into this. So, what is going on? What the hell can you guys see here? So, what I'm showing you on the left is the live servers. What I'm showing you on the right is the PTR. This is Reaper firing point blank at the wall. This is, literally a meter range where you'd expect to be doing a lot of Reaper sort of work, point blank doing damage. Is there any difference here? Well, it's kind of hard to see here, but what we'll do is we'll focus on the left. Now, just before we do that, remember what the change is. It's 50% reduction in the random weapon spread. That's what the change is. Also, Reaper's got an extra 10% life steal, so he is kind of more tanky now. Anyway, focus on the left. Look at the left. Look at the spread. Like, try and envision a circle in your head. You'll notice every now and again there are bits which flick off to the side, and it happens more often than if you look at the right-hand side. So on the PTR, you'll notice it's more of a circular spread. It's less random. Still, it's difficult to tell, and at this range, I'm not too sure it makes that much of a difference, because if you're still trying to shoot somebody in the head, you could argue that on the PTR, because there's less weapon spread, if you've got better accuracy, then you'll hit them in the head more often. Now, if you guys have played Reaper, which I'm sure you have, you will often just randomly delete people as you're running through. You're running through, firing is a big fight, and then, oh, I've just instantly killed a Tracer. Oh, I've just instantly killed a Reaper, but I was firing at his chest. That's because the random weapon spread has worked in your favor. The current PTR version of Reaper will not do that as often, so you will do less damage effectively. So you won't get those cheeky, oh, I wasn't really aiming at your head, but haha, a couple of the pellets have hit you in the head, so now you've took loads of damage and you're basically dead. That's not going to happen as often. I do also want to get onto some reasons why they're doing this a bit later on in the video, but I just want to show you a more sort of visible example here. So on the left, we've got live. On the right, we've got PTR. Let's watch the live. So this is 10 meter range. This is like as you're running towards a target, you'll start firing. So 1, 2, 3, dead on live. Yeah, super simple. You're 10 meters range, you're running towards the target, you're going to go fire, 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 you're going to hold down fire, run towards, so we go through it again, and we just see 1, 2, 3, dead. Right, so that's the second bot we've killed on the left. I think we killed 3 bots before this footage recycles, but 3 shots, bot dead. Now let's look at PTR. 10 meter range again. Watch what happens. So remember, you've got more of a less random weapon spread, but look what's happening. The pellets are not randomly hitting the bot more. Can you see what I'm saying? That's a really bad way of explaining it. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the damage we do is kind of different each time. That's really weird, isn't it? So what we've actually got here is a Reaper on PTR that does less damage than the Reaper on live at this range, even with a change that you would think on paper means that more of his pellets from his shot would actually hit the target. But in practice, this is not happening. You can clearly see what's... I mean, like I said, I think I killed 3 bots or 4 bots here before. I think I killed 3 bots, actually, before it recycles. Every single time, live kills, takes 3 shots. PTR takes 4 shots. That's extra shots there. That is a bit of a problem. That is something which is going to cause Reaper to do less damage. So, the question is, what is the... Like, why would they do this? What's going on here? Well, they've done the same thing to Roadhog. And for Roadhog, it's actually pretty good. Because Roadhog, the way you play with Hog is you're generally trying to hit people in the head anyway, which you kind of probably are with Reaper as well. But with Hog, it just kind of works out better. But I think we've got to just completely erase from our head Hog, Reaper. It doesn't really matter who it is, right? What they're doing is removing a random element from the game. They are changing the game to make it less random, and that is what we want. It never feels great when you die randomly. Now, I know we've got Hanzo and he's just firing arrows, whatever. It hits you in your head and you're dead. You could argue that you're kind of stupid if you're standing down a choke and Hanzo's spamming it with arrows. Yeah, you're probably going to get hit, right? But random stuff like this, random amounts of damage, never feel good to die to. So it looks like they're almost rebuilding the shotgun system, making it less random, but then that means they can go into each individual hero and then start tuning the figures. So Reaper right now should probably be doing more damage, right? So what they could do is slightly increase his damage to make it the same as live. So then what you've got is a more consistent Reaper, a more predictable Reaper than what we've currently got on live that does the same amount of damage. The big issue is that right now, this Reaper is not doing the damage he was doing on live, even though he's less random. So they kind of need to up that a little bit. However, think about the other change to Reaper. Think about the extra 10% lifesteal. So he's gone from 20% lifesteal to 30% lifesteal. Could this be an attempt to offset the, it's kind of strange calling this a nerf, but the less randomization of his weapon fire. The thing is, Reaper has to do damage to heal. So how effective that is, I don't know. I don't have numbers for that. That would be very difficult to test. But we could say, again, in theory, if you're doing less damage, then you are getting less healing. So it doesn't actually matter if you've got more healing percentage. But then that 10% might be enough to offset this sort of reduction in damage. We'll have to wait and see what they do with this, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go back and sort of make Reaper do a little bit more damage. Whether they could just do that by increasing his numbers, whether they could do that by making his shot more random again, but I don't think they ever would do that because, like I said, I think this is an attempt to make it less random. So, on the face of it, this is not a buff. It looks like a buff because it looks like, hey, more of my shot is going to hit the target. The problem is, a lot of Reaper's damage did actually come from that randomized shot hitting the target, which is a funky one, isn't it? So let's take a look at some gameplay from PTR, just to how Reaper feels, what he feels like, and I'll go through a little bit of commentary here, a bit of post-comment. All right, so this is me playing Reaper on PTR. It's PTR, remember, skill levels are everywhere, but what you're about to see is an example of being accurate, winning the day. See how I'm shooting at his head? Watch this. Bang, that's a headshot. That is me aiming at his head and killing that Reaper. We both had an equal opportunity there to kill each other, but I killed him because my accuracy was better at that range. That's the good thing with this Reaper. The problem is that Reaper might have killed me on live if, well, he just might have killed me. But that's the thing, right? Might have killed me. Random weapon spread, he could have just deleted me with 2 shots. But he didn't because he missed me or he was shooting me in the kneecaps or whatever. And I wasn't shooting him in the kneecaps. I was shooting him in the face and it absolutely killed him. Again, like I said, there are people leaving this game, rejoining the game. PTR is really, I don't know what's going on with it recently, but people are just leaving games all the time. Normally, people would leave games and they can't get the heroes that have been changed. But that's normally at the start, not just throughout the game, but whatever. So obviously we've got New Mercy, we've got Symmetra, we've got Roadhog, we've got Reaper on this PTR. So I'm just kind of trying to do Reaper stuff here. What I'm thinking is, like, I've got my ultimate almost available. If I can just somehow farm that as our team push in, go and just press Q and win. So I go in here. You can see me firing there at the Ana. Look at the damage to the Ana. That is huge damage, again, because I'm aiming at her head. I get a nice Death Blossom off, which Death Blossom is probably the worst ultimate in the game, to be honest. Remember, the enemy team don't really have anything to counter me. They don't have a diva who would just sit there with the defense matrix on me, and I'd be like, well, this is great. I've done nothing. Now I'm dead. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be pretty bad. But yeah, it is rewarding accuracy. This is the good thing about this change, right? It rewards accuracy, but I'm not too sure if that's actually good enough, right? Because Reaper wasn't exactly like an amazing top tier pick and you would pick him and you just would win the day, right? Reaper, like, I don't think any of us had issues with the way Reaper was. I mean, I'd be very surprised if any of you guys out there were like, well, no, Sty, I think Reaper's terrible. It's crazy. It's doing my head in. Reaper was easily played around. The way Reaper kills you is point blank range. Yeah? If you're going to run towards Reaper, he's going to do loads of damage to you. So in a way, having that random spread, it's kind of like it didn't really matter as much, right? Because Reaper's like, if you're on top of Reaper, you've already played like terrible. You got bad positioning, right? You shouldn't be on him. He's going to do damage to you, and that's just a fact. However, by reducing the randomness of the spread, it means that Reaper now has to be more accurate when you're on top of him, which does that make any sense given the fact that these are shotguns and they sort of, you know, well, like I said, if you're near him, he's going to do damage to you, right? It's interesting. Also, we've got the Roadhog changes here. Now, Roadhog is much better. Everybody agrees that Hog is way, way better. What they've done to Hog have made him much better. You would think that Reaper is a better counter to Roadhog now because he's got less weapon spread. But again, this goes back to the fact that some of the shots where you're firing into his body would be hitting him in the head, whereas now less of them are going to hit him in the head. You have to aim at the head. So the big issue here is if you've got a decent aim, if you're used to playing point blank on top of people, then it's fine. Like, you see that there when I hit that Tracer? On live, that might have instantly killed the Tracer because we might have smashed her in the head with a shot. It didn't here, though, because it essentially goes where you're firing, or most of the time. Most of the shots will go where you're firing. You're not going to get those cheeky, like, oh my god, I've just deleted that guy kind of kill. So if we just watch this here, so I'm going to push onto the Hog. Hog tries to hook me and misses. I'm going to back out. Got Death Blossom available, so I want to push and just press Q and see what happens. Tracer gets away from me. Again, I'm almost hitting the Trace there. That might have killed her on live. Nice attempt by Hog to pull me off the map. And then I'm just walking forward here. You can see the way I aim with Reaper. I've always found this effective for me. It's kind of like flicking, little sort of wrist flicks I do with him. Like, you get into the rhythm of firing and you're just flicking away. But yeah, it's funky, guys. Like, this isn't a super buff, but I think it's laying the groundwork to allow them to change shotgun heroes in the future, because I don't think there's any surprise that both Roadhog and Reaper, their primary weapon, was changed in this patch. So this should mean that if they think, like there, that Reaper, can me kill him, that Reaper there? I shot him arguably more in the chest and the head than he shot me, so I killed him. It's funky, right? But I think they're laying the groundwork here for the future, where they can make more changes. Maybe we're going to get a shotgun hero at BlizzCon as well. That's the other thing, right? Why would they suddenly start being interested in changing shotgun heroes if it, yeah, maybe this thing's coming down the line, which of course we'll never know, ladies and gentlemen. We'll never be privy to what's coming out in the future, so it's difficult for us to sort of predict what's going on. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video, and remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.